Okay, this is just going to be a relatively quick video, but it's something I've got very strong views on, and that is paparazzi. If you don't know, I think most people realise what they are, but if you don't know, these are basically freelance photographers, mostly freelance, but they get paid by agencies, and they certainly have a thriving business, who basically stalk and harass public figures, usually actors, singers, sports stars, occasionally other public figures. But they're widely regarded as scumbags, and rightly so. The reason being that they're not regular photographers, they're not regular journalists who are just asking questions from the red carpet or in an interview room. These people, I'm probably stating the obvious here, but this is just for those who aren't familiar. This is a sort of criminal. I don't consider them journalists. This is a sort of criminal who hides behind bushes, trees. Sometimes they even pursue the victim in a vehicle, jump out at them, literally thrust the camera in people's faces. They're not actually interested in an interview. This is the thing. They don't want an interview. What they want is an emotional response. Now, I'm sure that people who are in public life are trained by their agents to have tough skin and to deal with a certain level of pressure that comes from fame. And most celebrities are pretty good at handling it. But they're also human beings, and everyone has a tipping point. One thing that really bugs me sometimes is people make excuses for the paparazzi. They say things like, oh well, these celebrities want attention anyway. Let me make this very clear. There's a world of difference between wanting recognition for a film that you've done on the red carpet, doing interviews, and being stalked. No celebrity asks to be stalked by the paparazzi. That is a phony, ridiculous excuse. And it's no better than blaming a woman for getting raped because she was wearing a short skirt, or any other sort of victim blaming. And just because they're public figures and just because they might be famous doesn't justify it. I don't care if it's Justin Bieber or Mike Tyson, which I've just seen, or anybody else. What the paparazzi do is sickening. Now you might think, okay, Mike Tyson, he's a hot-headed boxer. But you know, that's a classic example. They know that Mike Tyson is a man with a reputation, so they're deliberately trying to provoke him into a reaction. And he ignored them, but they kept pushing it. Then they confronted them. There was no real violence, but he did confront them. Hugh Grant confronted them when he was stalked in the 90s. But there's many examples. And if you look at the number of celebrities that have basically hit the melting point with these people, that proves that you can't just say, oh, it's just the angry celebrities that do it, because all sorts of people would have a tipping point with these vermin. I really hate them. I think I don't see any difference between this and stalking. And I remember that these scumbags have no morals. I mean, you know, during the phone hacking scandal in the UK, and I believe that still hasn't been entirely exposed. I think there's more dirt out there, but basically I remember that Sienna Miller was testifying. She's a British actress, and these people won't even draw a red line at frightening a young woman, which is done with her. A gang of male paparazzi stalked her around London to the point she was living in fear. Now I find it baffling that we don't just make them illegal, full stop. Personally, I would like to see a situation whereby simply being a member of a paparazzi outfit, although that's the problem, like I say, they do work freelance, so it's not like they openly advertise themselves. They're a bit like hackers in that way. They're gutless cards. You know, and they always wear shades and balaclavas. They're just gutless cards, basically. I would like to see a situation where simply being a paparazzo would get you dragged before a court of law. I don't see any difference from being a paparazzo and being a stalker. I really don't. And if you think they're harmless, you need to see the sort of way that they grind down their victims because they want a response. And then idiots say things like, oh, these celebrities are so angry or they're so stuck up or something. How would you respond if you had a camera shoved in your day 20 in your face wherever you went? And the point is, most celebrities do try their level best to ignore them, but there's times they simply can't. You know, these people don't operate from a distance, in which case it would be relatively easy to ignore them, but in many cases they literally shove the camera in their victim's face. And bear in mind, in many situations the person in question may be trying to protect their family, especially if they've got young children. Now, I would defend myself, but I would, if I was married, if I had children, not only would I defend myself, I wouldn't hesitate to use violence against these vermin. I didn't give a damn how it would look. I mean that. Hand on heart, I mean that. If I was a public figure and I was harassed by paparazzi and I happened to have a family, I don't know if I will or I won't, but if I did, I swear to goodness, I would use violence against them, and I would give them something to think about. And I think it's outrageous that any victim of the paparazzi would be charged with assault when it is blatantly self-defense. Now, they're universally despised, but there is some hypocrisy here, because I reckon a lot of the people who'd say, oh yeah, they're horrible people, would happily buy a tabloid newspaper. Now, I'm not going to preach to people, I'm not going to say don't do this or don't do that, but what I am going to say is you need to be aware that the tabloid press, the likes of the Sun, the Daily Mail, the Daily Express, they buy tabloid photographs. So what those rags are doing is essentially fueling this stalking. That's what it comes down to. And it's despicable. It shows you what sort of papers they are. But whenever you read about a celebrity's been caught cheating on his or her partner, or you know, you see these lurid photographs of people in restaurants and you wonder why the lighting's dark, it's because some paparazzi scumbag has taken that photograph. Quality newspapers wouldn't use that shit because they have some standards. I believe what they do is utterly despicable, and they're putting the celebrity in a position whereby if they do defend themselves, then a lot of people, not everyone, a lot of people know what the paparazzi are like, but they kind of then pigeonhole them, and the gutter press will then report this, like celebrity A has a tantrum, celebrity B assaults photographer. Correction, celebrity B defends him or herself from stalker scumbag. That's what it should read. I really hate these people, and I don't see why we don't just criminalise them. And it's even worse in the States, from what I gather. They have even more freedom over there. I mean, you have entire enterprises like TMZ, which is entirely based on paparazzos. I find that hard to comprehend, and to me that is freedom gone to extremes, because what freedom are they giving the victims? And a final point, if anyone thinks, well, celebrities want attention, I'm not going to deny that there aren't celebrities who are egomaniacs and who do want attention, but I would say that I believe the majority of public figures, whilst they might want recognition, it's absurd to suggest that they want to be stalked. That's a bit like saying if a woman wants, an attractive woman wants to be complimented by men, then that somehow equates that she wants to be raped. It's rubbish. So just because a celebrity wants attention or recognition for their endeavours doesn't mean they want to be stalked by the paparazzi. And let's not forget, these people have blood on their hands. They killed Princess Diana. I know there's conspiracy theorists believe it was the royal family, but the paparazzi killed her. That's just one example. I'm sure there's others out there. Anyway, this is a bit of a rant because I despise them, and I don't know how anyone could rationally justify their behaviour. I'm not saying celebrities are above criticism. I'm not saying that there aren't celebrities out there who are vain and who are unpleasant characters, but to me the paparazzi are basically just legalised stalkers. And I find that hard to comprehend. I find it hard to accept.